Hello and welcome to the second episode of The Teasin. Today we've got a jam-packed episode. We've got some reviews of the crew. We've got an interview with the amazing Peter Levy. We've got our usual package of what to do in Hull, and today we're at the Ice Arena. Later on, we've got a report with our new presenter, and that is Sophie Roberts. She's at the Astra Youth Centre, and she's talking about its closing down and its disco, but you can catch for that later. Whilst we're at the Ice Arena, we managed to catch up with a figure skater called Emma, and we've got her routine on the ice coming up. But first, in this busy show, we have reviews with all the crew.
This book is called The Golem's Eye. It's about a boy called Nathaniel who summons a demon to help him bring down a band of non-magicians called the Resistance. The Resistance hate the magicians and are trying to kill them. It's a really well-written book, and it's easy to relate to the characters. I think I would recommend it to all the people who use Hull Central Library.
This book is called Stupid Sock Creatures, and it's a book with tips to make stupid sock creatures. But I wouldn't say they were stupid because this little guy here, I think he's pretty cool. If you're into arts and crafts, I would recommend this book to you.
This book's called Top Gear, and it's the races. It has the best bit about the races they've done on Top Gear, and it has one of the unfair races ever. It's a Mitsubishi Evo faces a boy on a mountain board, and I would recommend to anyone that likes cars and races.
As usual, all those books are available in the library. Coming up next, we went to the BBC and caught up with Peter Levy. Well, here with me today is the wondrous and the magnificent Peter Levy, and I'm going to ask him a couple of questions about his job. And if you don't know who he is, he's BBC Lux North presenter for Lincolnshire and Humberside. So, how did you...
That was a wonderful introduction. You realised that. Very good.
Well, so how did you first get into presenting?
Well, I started in radio first, and I'd done radio for many years and was quite happy doing that. And then somebody one day, TV and radio are all in the same building, and they got a shortage of somebody to read the news, and they said, "Oh, Peter always wears a tie," and I always did wear a tie. So they said he can do it, and I had a go, and that was many years ago, and I've been doing it ever since, really. So that started by accident.
And I know you do a radio show. Can you tell us a bit about when it's on and what it's about, really?
Well, it's on two radio stations. It's on Radio Humberside and also BBC Lincolnshire at the same time between 12 and 2. And it's a mixture of things which are on in the news that day. So we choose the subjects on the morning and turn them around very quickly, find the guests and do it live like that. So it's not pre-planned, it's not recorded or anything like that. It's very much live and and some days it's easier than others.
And I've seen you around Hull in like cafes and restaurants. How important do you think it is to support like the local businesses?
Well, wherever possible. To be honest, you've not seen me that much because I don't have that much spare time. But oh yeah, I think it is important. I think what's even more important is to go out and to be seen, to be chatting with people. Because when I always say about Hull is you can't go out without bumping into somebody who gives you a story and tells you a story, and then I come back in the building and say, guess what I've just found out? And I've worked in other places and it doesn't happen anywhere else. It only seems to happen here. Somebody always says, and part of it is because they know who you are, because they see you on the telly, they say, yeah, Pete, and then they tell you a story. So invariably I come back with a story which I didn't even know about before I went out.
Well, it's quite a thing in the BBC for April's Fool Day. They normally pull a little joke. Have you pulled one of those jokes yourself?
I think in the past, yes. I've got a bit bored just recently of the last few years of April Fool's jokes because the thing is that there's so many things that are far-fetched. I'll give you some idea. On April 1st, this year, when I was reading the papers, and some of the stories, and you had to think, is this a joke or is this true? Because there's so many far-fetched things you hear about these days, you weren't quite sure. There was one, let me think what it was. It was the Queen getting onto an EasyJet plane to travel from Luton to Scotland. And I thought, is that her just saving money and it would make sense? Or is that an April Fool joke? And I couldn't work out what it was, and I still don't know what it was.
And as a last question, what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you whilst you've been on air?
Oh, so many things, so many days, over so many years. The most recent thing that I did, which was embarrassingly bad, and then ended up being on Outtake
Outtakes,
TV.
yeah.
Outtake TV. I had had an operation on my eye at the weekend, and then on the Monday, I was very self-conscious about my eye and all the rest of it. And I was reading the autoscript, and the actual line was, it said MI5, and I read it as MFI. Instead of saying, so you imagine, reading, I hadn't even realised I'd said it, but I was so concerned about, looking right and not having this, funny eye after the operation. I looked at the camera, straight in the camera like that, and said, blah, 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 at MFI. Went into the tape, and somebody just said, you said MFI, not MI5. Anyway, everybody saw it, and of course it's been several times on Anne Robinson's programme, so I've had the humiliation to live through from that.
Thank you very much.
No, that's a pleasure. Good luck with, and you're very good. You've done all this without notes, and you did a nice long introduction as well, like that, without notes. So that's very good.
Let's just hope I don't mess the outro now.
No, don't mess the outro. Don't mess the outro. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Peter. And as he said, you can catch him on Look North every day at 6:30. Well, from Hull's most famous TV presenter to Hull's newest TV presenter, over to Sophie Roberts, our North Hull correspondent.
Hi, I'm Sophie, and I'm at the Ashford Youth Centre, where tonight we're having a leaving disco, because on Friday, Building Schools of the Future are going to knock us down. How long have you been attending this youth centre? 6 weeks. How do you feel about it actually getting knocked down? Sad. Do you, want it to get knocked down? No, because it's a good place to hang out. Would you be prepared to travel far away from this school to go to another youth centre? No. How long have you been working here?
About 2 years now.
How do you feel about this youth centre getting knocked down?
It's going to be disappointing. It's a shame for all the young people that come here and do different activities. It's going to be missed, I think.
Have you seen the new temporary building?
Yeah, I have. I'm quite pleased with it, really. I was a little bit worried in case it was not going to be big enough. It's nowhere near the size that we plan to have in the permanent, but I think that the young people will like it.
Was you prepared when you found out that this was going to get knocked down?
No, I wasn't. As I've walked into Winifred Oatby, I noticed that the plans on the wall, there was no sign that we was on there, and it worried me a little, so I contacted the headmaster, and then it's continued from then, and that's why it's ended up that we have looked into it and we were included. They wanted us to share the school, and that's why everything's happened like it has now. Thankfully, it's come out quite positive.
Hi again. Well, unfortunately, by this Friday, this is going to be gone. This is Sophie Roberts from the Ashford Youth Centre.
Coming up next in part 2, we have a feature of the ice arena and Emma doing her figure skating.